Welcome, my dear, to this new video on what truly represents the new earth feminine and the new earth masculine. It's a very beautiful topic that I'm going to dive into today, as well as a nourishing practice that you can gift yourself for this Valentine's. It's a practice that truly prepares you to be really grounded and anchored into this new earth consciousness and big consciousness shift that I was talking about yesterday. So I will link the video in which I explain this major shift, historic shift that we're going through in terms of a rise in consciousness on Earth. I will link that below this video so you can refer to it afterwards. Um, just briefly, I was saying that we are all sensing there's a big shift happening on Earth right now. And the deeper meaning of it is energetic and consciousness related. So our own consciousness is evolving. We are growing. We are getting to a place in our own personal history and in the history of humanity where we get to better understand ourselves and what we truly stand for and how we want to impact our growth and how we want to impact the earth as well in a positive way. Sure enough, this shift, I will just briefly mention that this shift comes with a lot of commotion, a lot of sometimes a lot of struggle in certain parts of the world because as you have seen it in your own experience, as you elevate your consciousness, you are also faced with all the blockages, all the obstacles, all the limiting beliefs that you have been carrying with you for years and years. So this is exactly what's happening with humanity right now, with all the revelations, all the revolutions, and with the sometimes decay, I will call it this way, the decay of old systems. It's just showing and bringing up to the surface what needs to be seen, what needs to be witnessed in terms of blocks and limiting ways of being that humanity has harbored for centuries sometimes and even millennia. So and when I say millennia, I'm referring specifically to the way the divine feminine has not been honored, has been kind of suppressed for at least 2000 years. And we see it in the sense that it's only in this day and age that we truly see a big rise of the feminine in the world, and we are giving more access to women in terms of positions of leadership in all walks of life, whether that is business, politics, and so on. We also see it through the revolutions happening in the world where people are asking for more rights for women. So this is just one aspect of the shift in consciousness, of the big shift in consciousness that we're experiencing, the rise of the feminine energy. And when I say feminine energy, I don't refer only to women. I refer to this energy rising across the board for all of us. It's rising in men as well because some men have been so disconnected historically from their emotions, from their intuition, from empathy, right? And we see it especially in politics, right? With very ruthless politicians and very war-prone mentalities. That disconnection from empathy, from compassion for one another. So this rise in the feminine energy is happening inside each and every one of us and across all walks of life. And it is a very exciting time to be alive, even though you may be faced with this like sometimes terrible news. It is all meant to be so because we are meant to face the shadows that have been holding us back so that we can see them, deal with them, and transmute them and learn to heal them and grow into something higher, grow into a higher expression of ourselves as human beings and into a higher expression of humanity. And so let me quickly jump into the topic for this video, the New Earth Feminine. What is the New Earth Feminine and what is the New Earth Masculine? Um, uh, I have written some notes and I'm gonna walk you through them. Simply put, the New Earth Feminine and the New Earth Masculine represent a new way of being in, and acting in the world that is unlike some of the old wounded behaviors that the feminine and the masculine had in the past. And I truly believe, much like a lot of other healers and coaches that speak to this, I truly believe that in order for you to manifest a balanced, harmonious outer union and an external relationship, be it with your beloved or with friends or friendships or business partnerships, in order for you to manifest balanced and loving, harmonious outer relationships in your world, you have to first come into a place of balance and well-being inside of you. You have to come to a place of honoring both your inner feminine and your inner masculine. Sure enough, for us women and who identify as a woman, we have a more heightened percentage of this feminine energy. And for men who identify, for example, as men, the masculine is more heightened and as in energy. But at the same time, we both hold, we all hold both in us, both energies, the feminine and the masculine. However, it has been the case in the past, before humanity had access to a lot of personal growth and personal development tools, it has been the case in the past that we were acting, you, myself, and a lot of people on Earth were acting up to the point where we started our journey of personal growth and evolution, of deep inner work. We were acting from a wounded inner feminine and a wounded inner masculine. So our primary, just to define where the feminine, where our primary models for the feminine and the masculine come in life, it's from our genitors, from our parents, primarily. And so I will walk you through a list of, first of all, what were the old earth, old school type of masculine attributes that are now coming to be changed. And then I will walk you through a whole list of attributes of the old earth feminine, divine feminine, that is now being changed into the true, solid, grounded new earth feminine. And my exercise that I recommend for you this, in particular, for this Valentine's, is for you to list down all of the new earth feminine qualities you feel you are here to embody, and all of the new earth masculine qualities and that you feel you are here to embody. Because when we realize this inner union of the healthy aspects of the feminine and the masculine within us, then we attract harmonious, loving, empowering, mutually honoring relationships in our lives. And so, are you ready for this? So let's focus first on the old earth masculine. So some of the wounded aspects of the masculine, and I'm not saying all aspects of the masculine and the feminine were wounded, but I want to focus specifically on what we are discarding, what we are letting go of in this day and age. So for the masculine in particular, it has been, and we see the effects externally in the world, it has been historically, the wound has been that of domination, power over one another. As you've seen, it was all about dominating which country is better than the other, domination over territories, domination over women, domination in all walks of life. It was about power over. So that comes from a wound of not feeling, a lot of times it comes from a wound of not feeling seen and heard and not having their emotions acknowledged at home, because most men in historically had been raised in a patriarchal society where emotions and feelings were not acknowledged, and it was seen as um, not proper for a little guy, a boy. It was not proper for them to deal with emotions. Boys had to run and be in activities that had to do with developing their intellect, developing their body, but not developing their emotions. They had to play with, a lot of times we see them playing with toys and cars and or wars, making wars and so on. It was not encouraged for them to develop their emotions. And when we are disconnected from our emotions, what we do is because we're all beings that require love. We are nurtured by love. When we grow harmoniously through this energy of love, when we're disconnected from our feelings, we are disconnected from love, inner love and outer love, and therefore we create that disconnection. We manifest that disconnection externally. And so their understanding of love historically has been I have to have power over somebody else. I will not go deeper into the details, but that's a big wound of the old masculine. It was disregarding boundaries, so there's no such thing as boundaries. So manipulative, disregarding of boundaries, personally and territorially, and dominant. So it had to be like in the dominant power, the dominant position. Now, of course, in reflection to that, there was a wounded feminine walking on earth that has been encouraged by the fact that women were not allowed to have any positions of authority in society other than bearing children and being mothers. And therefore, in reflection to that, the wounded old earth feminine a lot of times was manifested as people pleasing. So having to be at the mercy and in the service of others at the detriment of oneself. So women that were self-sacrificial, people pleasing, submissive. So being submissive, being um, seen as less than. So a lot of the not good enough types of old limiting beliefs that were harbored in women up until recently had to do with this historic wound that the feminine was put in a submissive, lower than the masculine role. And we even see it harboring this limiting belief was actually created by some religions. I'm not going to go into details about that, but even if you look into the Bible, there's the one of the opening myths there is about Eve being less than Adam, which is absolutely not true. And I'm going to link a book in the comments that actually speaks about the true history of how those books of the Old Testament, the old earth, were written. And I'm not referring here to the New Testament, which are the true teachings of love and compassion for one another and supporting one another, the Jesus teachings, the Yeshua teachings. I'm not speaking here about the New Testament. I'm speaking about the Old Testament, and the old earth type of mentality, which actually portrays throughout the Old Testament. You see a very vengeful, a very authoritarian, dominating type of God that people were in fear of. So that's all old mentality, and it was written. It was written by the priests at that time with a specific interest to dominate over the society of that time. So I'm going to link in comments one of the books that refers to how those teachings came to be and what was the real goal of those teachings to dominate over the minds of people. But we are waking up right now, right? We are going through this rise in consciousness. And so, again, coming back to the old earth masculine and the old earth feminine, what we can see in this example is that wound attracts wound. A wounded way of being attracts a wounded way of being in another. And this was harbored in families as we were growing up for a lot of us, in the sense that a lot of times we grew up with even in my case, like we grew up with like women, moms that were in service of another, that were self-sacrificial. And we grew up with either disconnected emotionally dads that couldn't actually share vulnerably their emotions and be there, be present, be empathetic towards their family and towards what was happening there. Or we grew up with very dominant authoritarian dads whose rule was the rule in the house. So I'm not saying this is like this is like wide examples. I'm not saying here everybody is encompassed here. Maybe you had the privilege and the blessing to grow up in a different kind of family. But I'm referring here specifically to these old historic models in society of how the masculine and the feminine were relating. Now let's pass on to this new earth feminine and new earth masculine. So, as I was mentioning earlier, with this rise in consciousness on Earth, what is happening is that we are realizing, all of us individually, and the realization is starting to happen also at the macro level, collectively in society, we are realizing that we are no longer defined by those old models of operating and being in the world. And we can no longer function from those old wounds, from those old limiting ways of being and limiting beliefs about ourselves, if we are to grow, if we are to advance as a society. And so, how does the new earth feminine and the new earth masculine look like? And I'm going to encourage you to continue the exercise over this weekend of Valentine's, which is a very exciting weekend to do such a beautiful exercise. And no matter when you're watching this video, it is the best time for you to do this exercise because it's an exciting time. Once again, it's a very exciting time to be alive on Earth with these huge changes happening. Sure enough, change brings resistance to it. But when you're not resisting the change, when you lean into it and you search for what you're there to learn, how you're there to grow, then that change, my love, favors you. So the I'm going to start with the new earth masculine. The new earth masculine differs a lot from the old masculine in the sense that it's that type of masculine energy that is balanced and it's honoring. It's the type of energy that is not dominating over the feminine, but it is honoring the feminine. It is supportive of the feminine. It is the type of energy that recognizes there's no such thing as one above the other. We are all equals and we are here to work in harmony with one another. So it's the type of masculine energy that is loving towards the feminine because the feminine has been for so many years, millennia, in service a lot of times of the masculine. So she has been loving a lot of times towards him and has accumulated sometimes a lot of resentment for not being acknowledged in return. But now, at the turn of ages, what's happening is that the masculine is awakening a lot of times to his own inner feminine, reconnecting to emotions, reconnecting to inner love, reconnecting to recognizing to their intuition and to recognizing that they too, all of us, um, deserve love and deserve to live from love and embody love. So, this is a type of masculine that has done their inner work, that has connected to their emotions, has connected to their own past history, and has healed it, or is in process of healing it, and is open to grow. It's open to change. Both of the new earth feminine and the new earth masculine are open to that growth, are open to that change for the better, are open to evolution, right? And that evolution, whether it has an R before it, revolution or evolution, we see it happening all over the earth right now. For women, that evolution is happening through the fact that the women's circles have multiplied. So a lot of times we have had to stick to learn how to stick to one another, to as sisters, to lift each other as sisters. And I'm going to do a separate video in the future about that because there is also a historic sister wound that now is being healed, and we're coming back into balance with ourselves and with one another as women, as sisters. We're no longer in competition, which is the competition is a mark of the old masculine way of functioning. But we are switching to collaboration and to supporting one another. So we see the rise of the women's circles happening all over the world. And the feminine, the new earth feminine, which is embodied again, I'm speaking in pure energetic terms, it is embodied both by women and men. The new earth feminine is about collaboration. It's about mutual support. It's about standing in sovereignty. Whereas before she was in submission, here the new earth feminine is she is standing in her sovereignty. She is recognizing her value. She is recognizing her goddess given attributes and her divine nature. They are both recognizing the new earth feminine and the new earth masculine are both recognizing their divinity, their divine nature, the healed aspects of themselves, and they are mutually in acknowledgement, in recognition of one another. And there is a work of reparation happening right now. I'm feeling from the masculine to the feminine in the sense that whereas historically he was in a dominant position, now he understands he is here to lift her up as well from time to time. So the new earth masculine is empowering towards women, not disempowering towards women. He is here to be in a position um, um, of balance with the feminine and to acknowledge, to see her, to be like to be each other's shoulders of support. So that's true balance in a sense. And so the new earth masculine is self-responsible. It's the type of masculine energy that recognizes I'm not here to be in dominion, to build an empire or to be dominant over the earth or over other people. I am here to be in the only thing I have to dominate is my own ego. That's the new earth masculine. The self-responsible person, man or woman, who is here to dominate their own ego, who is here to rule over their ego, and um, who is in a position of sovereignty, love sovereignty. So they are um, in this journey, like the heroic journey of overcoming their obstacles, overcoming their limiting beliefs. We are all on this heroic journey of overcoming limiting beliefs and coming into our sovereignty, coming into our embodied love essence and sovereignty. And yeah, the new earth masculine also has this quality of support. He's supportive towards Mother Earth. He's supportive towards the feminine. And the feminine, the new earth feminine is again, as I mentioned, she's coming up into her sovereignty. She's recognizing her value. She's recognizing that she has important and highly valuable things to contribute to the world. She's recognizing that she's embodying life force energy, Shakti. In ancient traditions, for example, in ancient India, the masculine and the feminine principles, the pure masculine and the pure feminine were called Shiva and Shakti. And Shakti, the feminine, represented the life force energy that is bubbling through us. So the new earth feminine is embodying this bubbling energy, this um, ecstatic, even ecstatic way of living. She owns her pleasure, another thing that was suppressed by religions. The new earth feminine owns her pleasure in a responsible way. And she acknowledges the fact that life can be lived in pleasure and joy. Isn't this magnificent to embody these two energies, the new earth feminine and the new earth masculine? And so, my love, your your practice that I'm recommending for you this Valentine's Day that is setting you up for embodying this in your relationship with your beloveds, either your current beloved or the beloved to come if you're single. And also, it's setting you up for embodying these energies into your relationships and calling in these balanced, loving, harmonious relationships in all aspects of your life. Your practice is to write down, to reflect over this weekend and write down what are the qualities of the new earth feminine and the new earth masculine that you feel represent you. What is birthing, what is emerging from you, from inside of you, as you are participating, as you are part of this great shift, this great rise in consciousness on Earth. I have only given you a few qualities, a few attributes of each of these energies today, the feminine and the masculine energies, the yin and the yang, as the Chinese used to see them. And interestingly, the Chinese, if you remember the symbol of the yin and the yang, the Chinese actually represent them as each of them holds the other within. They're not separate from one another. The yin and the yang, the white and the black and the white, they hold they hold the white holds the black inside of it, and the white holds um the the white holds the black inside of it. So as you have seen from that representation, they were referring to the fact that they are not separate, the feminine and the masculine, from one another, but they hold each other in love and reverence because they recognize each other's divinity. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to eventually get to recognize one another's divinity and to recognize that we are all divine source embodied in human form. And therefore, would you hurt the divine? Why would you hurt the divine? Why would you in any shape and form? Since the divine is who you are, it means you would be hurting yourself. I'm actually getting chills as I'm sharing this transmission with you today because this is what it is. It's a transmission. And it's a big awakening to the fact that we're not here on this timeline, on this trajectory of the new earth that we're living right now, with everything that is coming to the surface to be faced and to be healed and to be transmuted with everything that is coming to the surface. It is showing us we are no longer here to embody the wounded feminine and the wounded masculine and the suppression and the dominance type of energies, but we are here to embody the healthy feminine and the healthy masculine. That's what I mean by new earth feminine and new earth masculine, the healthy parts, the healed, healthy, whole parts of ourselves. And therefore, we are ultimately, when we come back into that health, into that balance, we come back into the realization of our own divinity and that we are all whole, we are all beautiful, we are all unique expressions of the divine. And so once you go through this exercise, what I would like you to do is to write down what are your new earth feminine qualities or healthy feminine qualities, and what are your new earth masculine qualities, so healthy masculine qualities that you are here to embody in your own life. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you are focusing on the new earth masculine qualities. You can write down things, you may want to write down things such as, I am responsible with all my decisions. I'm responsible and focused with my time. I have healthy boundaries when it comes to my time and my work. Um, I am honoring my emotions, my intuition, and I give myself, meaning the feminine, I give her time for pleasure and discovery. And when you write down the feminine, you may want to write down qualities such as I honor my feelings, I honor my intuition, I make space and time to connect to my intuition and my higher self daily. The feminine is a channel of the divine. She's a channel and a birther into the world of wisdom. That's why in ancient times, in Europe, in the Greek, in Greece, in the Greek lands, she used to be called Sophia, the Shakti that the Hindus referred to in the Greek mythology was called Sophia. Sophia stands for wisdom because a fully embodied feminine and a fully embodied feminine that is in balance with your inner masculine manifests as wisdom. So channeling, connecting to your own experience, connecting the channeling to your own experience and sharing it out into the world as your embodied wisdom. Sophia stands for wisdom, the, the ultimate Shakti goddess, which in religion was In ancient texts, like in the biblical texts, Sophia was represented as the dove, the Holy Spirit. That's how they hid her. She was still present there somehow, but it was in a hidden way. So I encourage you to do this exercise today, and or over the weekend, of writing down a list of your new earth. What would you like to embody and what you're here to embody? What do you commit to stand for in your own life as your new earth feminine and your new earth masculine qualities? So I hope you enjoyed this video, my love. I have a whole range of offerings for you to grow and evolve this year, to heal any of the past wounding and to truly rise into your sovereign, loving leadership in the world. Programs such as the Conscious Evolutionary Leadership that teaches you how to manage energy and how to manifest from a balanced state of being. The Sacred Feminine Business Training, which teaches you how to actually create a holy and sacred offering into the world that actually replenishes you, doesn't deplete you, and brings you a lot of joy and abundance. I'm going to bring back my goddesses um, programs this year because, in my own experience, working with divine feminine spirit guides has been, and archetypes, divine feminine healthy archetypes has been so empowering, and I'm bringing it back this year. And throughout the month of February, I have a 25% discount out of sheer love and as a blessing for you this year that you can use across my offerings and on my website, for the duration of the month of February. The code is LOVE2026, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you would like to see another deep dive with me, a free workshop focused on awakening your higher self leadership and why it's so important in this day and age and time of great evolution on Earth, then I will link that under this video, the link to the workshop. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope to see you soon in one of my containers of growth and evolution. And I am so delighted, as usual, to see you here. Please subscribe for more of these beautiful videos. And I hope to see you soon.